I grew up in the beautiful era of the '60s and '70s, and it had some great boxing matches. And that one fight that really stands out, March 8th, 1971, Madison Square Garden, New York City, the first fight with Ali Frazier. That was an event.
You just talked about it. It seemed like to be a really good, memorable, fight. Any others that you kind of find to be in that same category of memorable?
Well, obviously for me and in my career, the most memorable fight was the first fight with Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo.
I've heard that, yeah.
My mentor, Richard Steele, the great Richard Steele, Hall of Famer referee, he told me, he says, referees, they can go throughout an entire career and not have a signature fight. I was blessed to have a signature fight, because that fight is a top 10, it is the top 10 greatest fights of the history of boxing and round of boxing. And to be in a historical fight like that, it's
huge.
They still talking about that fight.
Yeah. You mentioned the photo up there of Muhammad Ali. Yeah. I wish I could see fights from Muhammad Ali in his, in his prime.
Wow.
As far as, what he did. And, there was maybe a few fights that I seen from Tyson. And if you didn't tune into Mike Tyson, that was just because he was a wild animal off the leash.
Oh, big time.
You get any Mike Tyson's fights?
No. I came in on the tail end of Mike's career, But, you mentioned, Muhammad Ali. I grew up in the beautiful era of the '60s and '70s, and it had some great boxing matches. And that one fight that really stands out, March 8th, 1971, Madison Square Garden, New York City, the first fight with Ali Frazier. That was an event, and it was the build up to the fight. It just gives me goosebumps even talking about it right now. This particular fight, the world stopped to watch. They had wars that literally called a truce just to watch this fight, and
I'm mad at you. I'm gonna put my gun down and watch this fight.
And it definitely lived up to the hype.
Right.
That was a different time. I think it was more, especially you talk about Ali. It's almost like it wasn't just like another man he was fighting.
No,
it was you're fighting a society,
right,
and a certain outlook. I think that was. I think that adds on to the mystique of that. When you look back on it now, you understand how much pressure he was under. And then you think about with Frazier, too, just how much pressure these guys was under at that time. These guys ain't dealing with no type of pressure, in my opinion, compared to what he was dealing with while he was fighting.
I mean, during that time, and the polarization was really high.
Absolutely.
And, Ali, being in exile for 3.5 years, his title being stripped away, and he was truly the people's champion.
Right. Is this the fighting Boombaye?
No, New York City.
Oh, New York.
Okay. Boombaye was the fight with George Foreman.
George Foreman. That's right. My bad. You're right.
I've always been interested in boxing, and especially growing up during that era and watching some of the great fights, the lightweights, Duran, Hearns, Leonard, all those guys. It was just a great era of boxing, and I never had any idea that I would be doing what I'm doing today. When something comes to you, that's the blessing.
Right.
And it came to me, and I happened to be a natural at it, and everything just went from there. It's still so surreal to me that I can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Seeing the world, meeting people who I grew up watching, and they know me by first name, and it's crazy.
Yeah.